Hello everybody. We have completed the two chapters. They are the human reproduction and reproductive health. Now the next chapter we are going to start is human health and disease. So before coming to the chapter, let me tell you something that is important, that this human health and disease is very important, also interesting also. This chapter include two part. One is disease part, where we have to see different diseases. There are causative organisms, there are different varieties of symptoms. Then after that we'll see the different detection method, or the different vaccination, what type of vaccinations are available. We will see those things. Then after that we have to see the life cycle of two of the protozoan, one of the protozoan disease, that is malarial life cycle. Then after that we have to see a life cycle of a viral disease, that is the viral disease here, that is the life cycle of HIV AIDS. Then after that we have to see also the two another condition. One is cancer, what are the causes of cancer and all these things we will see in the disease part. And second part is immunity part. So that immunity part will consist of various methods by which our body develop the immune system. Then after that we'll see the type of immunity. We have two types of immunity: humoral, cell mediated. Under the cell mediated immunity we have numbers of cells included. To those cells, how actually we have the first line defense, second line defense. Then we'll see allergy, vaccination, active immunity, passive immunities, and a number of things. So all of these things, if you see, we actually, this is going to be a very huge chapter. So in this part, 3 or 4 or 5 marks of questions that can come from the need point of view. So this chapter is going to be very much important from the need point of view. You have to study this chapter. Very interesting chapter, but this will be also a little bit difficult for you to remember all those things, but you have to remember, it's very important in the time of disease, immunity and all. So it's related also, you will relate the chapter more. So let's just start the chapter. That chapter is human health and disease. So before coming to the disease, we will use a term. That term is health. So what is the meaning of health? What actually a healthy individual we can call, that suppose an individual is passing by, we will call that individual is healthy. So on what point or on basis we will call that this individual is healthy? So when we can call that individual is healthy, that if that person is physically, mentally and socially well, then only we can call that this individual is a healthy individual. So what happened, only by the proper muscular and height we cannot call this individual is a healthy individual. Maybe his physical growth is good, but yes, along with that, the mental condition of the individual also is a very important thing. Earlier, those points was not considered as a basis of health, but nowadays this mental hygiene is also very much important. Third thing, that is the social well-being. That see, in case of human, we are the social animal. So like the ants, like honeybee, we are also social animal. We live in society. So to live in a society, we have to develop some social behavior too. Like we need to have communication, we need to share, we need to exchange our thoughts, our expression with the environment, with the surrounding, with our own species we used to talk. So what is that? All of them together, it's called as health. So if the individual, see, if that individual is normal, what we have to consider, that he has to be physically good. He should not suffer from any types of diseases. Second thing, he should not have any criminal minded, or he should not be mentally ill. If he is mentally ill, then also we cannot call, though he is healthy, suppose from the point of view his physical growth, we cannot call that individual is a healthy individual. And also if he quarrel with some another person, and after that his social behavior is also not good, then also we cannot call that this individual is a healthy individual. So health means a state of complete physical, mental and social well-being. So this 3 points it is taken from directly from your NCERT. According to WHO, a complete social, mental and physical well-being of a person is called as health. Now this health is many time is affected by lots of conditions. So in this chapter, we are not going to talk about the mental and the social well-being. We'll consider only the physical well-being. So in this, first of all, we'll see when our physical health can be deteriorated or we suffer from the different type of diseases. See, what is actually disease? When our body is not properly functioning, our organs are not able to work properly, then only we can call that, yes, that individual have some disease. Whenever that individual have diseases, he will start to develop some type of abnormal symptoms or abnormal signs, and then only we will understand, yes, he has some problems or that is a disease condition. Now that disease, this is actually a very broad term. We cannot use for suppose you have a common cold, then only you have disease. Actually various types of conditions we will call that, yes, this individual is diseased individual. So that's why we divide the disease into two broad parts. What are they? The first one, that is congenital disease, and another is acquired disease. So what are the congenital type of disease? There are actually the different type of chromosomal disorder. So those chromosomal disorder that will be from the birth, right from the birth he will have this congenital diseases. So that can include different type of diseases, chromosomal disorder like Down syndrome. So in Down syndrome, what happened? There is a extra chromosome in the 21st set of chromosome. This way Klinefelter syndrome, then Turner syndrome, this type of diseases, they are actually this is a serious disease also. This can never be treated, never be cured. So that type of disease, they are known as congenital type of disease. These are the chromosomal abnormalities due to what this type of diseases appear, which can never be treated. So this is also a type of disease. Now this type of disease, congenital disease, is it possible they transfer from one person to the next person? No. Why? Because this is a problem of the genetic makeup. So in the genes they have some problems. So if suppose that individual that have the congenital infection disease, suppose any type of chromosomal aberration, then he suppose said take food with some another person, it can never transfer. So these are the non-infectious type of disease also. They are the chromosomal disorders. Example I have given: Down syndrome, Klinefelter syndrome, then Turner syndrome. These are the congenital type of disease. Next type of disease, they are the acquired disease. That means right from the birth it will be not present, but due to some time, whenever you start to live in the environment, due to the environmental impact, we start to grow some type of diseases. These are the acquired disease. Now under this acquired disease also we have two type of disease. First one, that is infectious disease. Infectious disease means those disease which are caused by some infectious organisms. Now those infectious organisms we can divide into how many parts? 5 types. See, we have bacterial disease, viral disease, protozoan, fungal and helminthic disease. Example of bacterial disease, if you take the example of typhoid, this typhoid is a bacterial disease. If you take the example of a viral disease, so what is a viral disease? A very easy example, in the last chapter even we have discussed one type of STD. What was that? AIDS. Then after that, protozoan disease, which is very common in India, in the villages. What is that? Malaria. So malaria is also a protozoan disease. This way we have varieties of protozoan disease, not only malaria. Then after that, fungal disease. See, fungal disease, we have fungal disease like food poisoning. Food poisoning is also a fungal disease. Or ringworm. So ringworm or food poisoning, these are the fungal disease. So don't think ringworm means it's a worm disease or caused by some worms. No, this is also a fungal disease. And the last type of disease is helminthic disease. Helminthic disease, that means it is caused by some type of causative organisms or helminth, like suppose one organism I can give you, that is filariasis. Filariasis is caused by what? Organism, the causative organism for the disease filariasis or elephantiasis, that is Uchelleria bancrofti or Uchelleria malariae. So in this two type of infectious organism, one individual will suffer from filariasis or elephantiasis. So helminthic disease, example is filariasis. So these are the different type of infectious diseases. So infectious disease, we will divide the infectious disease into 5 types. What are they? Bacterial disease, viral, protozoan, fungal and helminthic. Each and every type of disease, not only one, we have to discuss numbers of infectious disease along with their causative organisms, along with their symptoms. You have to remember all those. Then after that, we'll see some non-infectious disease also, which is not caused by any type of these 5 types of causative organisms. What are they? See, these are not also chromosomal disorders. These are some non-infectious acquired diseases. What it can be? See, we have, due to suppose some stresses or some environmental impact, we suffer from hypertension, stress. Okay, hypertension or stress, or suppose high BP or diabetes, or even cancer. Yeah, cancer and diabetes, that can also be inherited also, but due to some environmental impact also, the individual can suffer from diseases. They are suppose caused by rays, different varieties of X-rays can also be a cause, UV radiation can be a cause of cancer, some viruses that can also cause cancer. Similarly, diabetes, if you take more sugar, you will develop diabetes. But yes, diabetes can be inherited from the parental or from the earlier generation. So these are the non-infectious disease which are not right from the birth, like congenital disease. Even they are not also caused by this 5 type of infectious organism, but due to time we develop this type of conditions. They are included under non-infectious acquired type of diseases. So these are the different type of disease. First of all, in this chapter we will start from the infectious diseases. So that is about just the introduction. So in this introduction point, we have discussed what is health, what is disease, how many types of disease we have to know. Then after that, we'll see from first to last varieties of diseases. So let's just start with the different infectious disease, the different type of causative organism which can infect the individual. So on that, first of all, we'll take the bacterial diseases. So let's just start the bacterial disease. The first disease is typhoid. See, the typhoid disease, that is caused by a pathogen. That pathogen is Salmonella typhi. So it's a scientific name. Remember, you have to write separately, underline separately. So the causative organism is Salmonella typhi. Next one, about the mode of infection. So what happened, that bacteria Salmonella typhi actually is present in the water. So if that water is taken by the person, suppose for drinking as well as to wash the food, then also that pathogen, the bacteria it can enter inside the body. So whenever it enters inside the body, which region it actually reach, it will reach the gastrointestinal tract. And in the region of the intestine, first of all, it start to take the tissues. Eventually, what happen in the region of the intestine, severe blisters, they will start to occur. During this condition, the individual start to feel severe fever, maybe up to 105, 106. Up to that, they will suffer from that fever. Then after that, that individual also will feel stomach pain, abdominal pain, and also with fecal matter, blood can shed. So this is a symptom, this type of symptoms that will appear in the disease typhoid. There is a test available for the typhoid specifically. What is that? That is the vital test. Remember, vital test is very much important. This was asked a number of times. What is the test available for the disease typhoid? So this typhoid, that is also known as enteric fever. Remember their pathogen, Salmonella typhi, mode of infection. It is actually transmitted through contaminated water or the food. The symptom basically is the fever, then intestinal or abdominal pain. That type of symptoms the individual will experience whenever he suffers from typhoid. But it is not deadly. Earlier it was deadly, but nowadays antibacterials are available. Nowadays different immunization programs are available, due to what? The typhoid preventing injections are given and one can recover from that disease, typhoid. Second type of disease we are going to start is pneumonia. So pneumonia is a very common disease in the children's also, very common disease, but yes, it's very deadly. So there are two causative organisms. One is Haemophilus influenza and the second one is Streptococcus pneumonia. Both these two can cause the disease, that is pneumonia. Remember, Streptococcus pneumonia and Haemophilus influenza. What is the mode of infection? How it will transmit from one person to the next person? What happens if an individual is suffering already from pneumonia, if he sneeze or if he cough, then in the air, in the aerosol, that droplets that can contain the pneumonia bacteria, Haemophilus influenza or Streptococcus pneumonia. So if the surrounding that region is contaminated with the bacteria and if that is inhaled by a normal individual, then what happens? That will enter inside the body of a normal individual and start causing the disease. Also, there may be another mode of transfusion, that is when the individual takes the use the same type of utensil, then also he will have the same problem. So this way the individual can catch pneumonia. But here a very dangerous thing happens, that what is basic symptom? First thing, he will have tremendous pain while respirating. Why? Because whenever he tries to respirate, the gas will enter inside the lung. Already you know that the lung contains the unit that is alveoli. So that alveoli, they will start to fill with the fluid. So whenever the alveoli start to have fluid inside it, if that individual try to breathe, then also that individual cannot breathe. The gaseous exchange will not take place. And he will have shortening of breathing or fullness, and because of what, he will not able to take oxygen as much as he need. But what happens due to that lack of oxygen? Gradually the tissues start to get less and less oxygen, and due to what? To the terminal regions of the body, the individual will not able to transport oxygen. So that terminal region, like tip of the fingers, they actually turn first of all gray and then it turns blue or blackish. So what happened? This is a severe condition, that pneumonia patient will develop dark blue colored fingers later on. But first of all, he will have just fever, then after the chill, cough, then during respiration he will have problem, chest pain, that type of symptoms will appear. So that is the disease, that is pneumonia. Remember, the pneumonia and normal common cold, what we suffer from cold, that have pretty much similar type of symptoms, but there is a difference that in pneumonia also we will have same type of symptoms like the normal common cold have. But in common cold, only this nasal region, nasal chamber, that gets affected. It will not go to the region of even respiratory, that windpipe. What happened in pneumonia, it actually goes to the lung, and after that in the alveoli it start to fill with fluid. So these are the basic two differences between common cold and pneumonia. So this is also important. This is asked many times that though they have the same type of symptom, what part of the body is affected in common cold and in pneumonia. Remember, this is important. Next type of disease we will see, that is the disease plague. This plague is also known as bubonic plague. Why bubo? This word bubo, bubo means lumps. So that actually the disease plague was predominantly it affected England. Then in India also it came. During Second World War, that was a very serious pandemic disease also. Like nowadays we have the disease corona, same type of disease that during the Second World War time also, that disease plague was very much pandemic around 1942, when during that period of time. So in that actually what had happened, the main causative organism actually is the rat. But what happened, the causative organism C, this is a bacteria, that is Yersinia pestis. This bacteria actually is primarily the bacteria of a rat. But what happened, how it will enter into human body? See, normally the rat have this bacteria, but whenever the rat dies, then this bacteria leaves the rat's body and it will go to the air. Then in the air it starts to for some time float, and after that it bites even human. Then after that it will enter in the human body, and gradually what happen, it start to infect the different organs. In different regions there are very small first of all tumor, some lump type of tumors, they start to grow in the groin region or in the armpit region. Gradually what happened, that individuals start to turn black in the skin, they start to appear blackish color, and in extreme cases the whole individual turns black, and after that the individual dies. So that's why this disease plague, this is also known as Black Death. Okay, so remember, this disease was very serious disease. The individual turns black. Just think, imagine what can happen. The symptom is, first of all, that individual will develop just fever, then lump will appear, and eventually the individual first of all develop small patches, dark patches, black patches, and gradually those patches will grow, and after that it completely cover the whole body. And this way this disease plague, this bacteria can kill even the human. And this way, if that individual dies, then bacteria will transmit to the next individual, and this way this disease actually kill millions of people. So that is the third type of bacterial disease. So the next viral disease is tuberculosis, which we also commonly call as TB. So what is the causative organism? This is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. See, here we have two diseases. One is tuberculosis and second one is leprosy. Both these two type of diseases, they are caused by the same genus, that is Mycobacterium. Remember, from here also questions are asked lot of times that from the following diseases, which of the following are caused by the same genus Mycobacterium. So this disease tuberculosis, which also we can call as cause disease, the causative organism is Mycobacterium tuberculosis. What happened in TB, that individual suffers from first of all fever, chill, then after that he will have cough, but whenever he have cough along with the sputum sometime the blood can also appear. So the first of all he will have chest pain, then night sweating, then weight loss will occur, then gradually he will have blood vomiting too. In severe condition he will have blood vomiting. So this is the condition what happens in tuberculosis. Second one, the next type of disease we will see, that is leprosy. So this leprosy, which is normally also in general term we also call it as Kust Rog. So that is also known as Hansen's disease, as it was discovered by one person, he was Hansen, so that's why it is also known as Hansen's disease. So what is the pathogen? That is Mycobacterium leprae, that is a causative organism. The symptoms include, first of all, what happened to the skin, that individual lose sensation. So first of all he will lose sensation on the skin, he will not able to understand anything whenever he touches that region of the skin. Gradually from that region actually that color turns yellow. First of all it turns yellow, but after some time what happened from the body parts, that skin that start to erupt, that fall, and this way what happened from the body, the flesh start to fall, and this way the individual dies. So that's why what the people they're suffering from Kushth Rog, earlier they used to do one thing, that they used to wrap the white clothes around the wounds so that the skin do not fall. So that was a very serious disease whenever it was not detected the causes. But later, whenever the causative organism was known, the causative organism is just a bacteria. So just by giving the antibiotic, the individual can recover from that condition. So this is also a serious disease if it is not known what type of disease is that. So just think, whenever from the body the skin start to fall off, then that will be a serious condition, and it was thought as a serious disease earlier, but nowadays just by giving antibiotic this disease can be fully cured. Next type of disease, this is known as cholera. Similar type of disease like typhoid, cholera is also a similar type of disease. Mode of transmission is same, that is contaminated water and the food. The causative organism for cholera is Vibrio cholerae. In that disease, what happened? The individual will have first of all fever, then vomiting, then he will have rices, stool frequently. So he will have excessive water loss, body fluid loss from the body, and this way actually due to dehydration the individual dies earlier. So this is a very actually easy type of recovery we can have when the people or the children they suffer from cholera, that can be given ORS. So what is the full form of ORS? You have never maybe thought of ORS. What is the full form of ORS is? This is oral rehydration therapy. Just by in water, in a just cup, you have to take a tablespoon of salt and sugar, mix it and take it. So this is very easy treatment by which one individual can easily recover from this condition. So this is the disease cholera. So in this cholera, watery discharge from the body in form of stool, also in form of vomit also, it start to gradually decrease the water level of the body. That is the disease cholera. Next type of disease is diphtheria. See, in diphtheria what happened? Yeah, this is a scientific name. The pathogen is Corynebacterium diphtheriae. So what happened? The symptoms include chill, sore throat, mild fever, vomiting, diarrhea, difficulty in the breathing. So diphtheria is one type of same type of disease like you can call in tuberculosis, that he will have like tuberculosis and cholera, if you mix the symptoms of both tuberculosis and cholera, you will get the similar type of symptoms in diphtheria. So he will have problems in respiration as well as he will have problems in the digestive system too. So this is the disease diphtheria. And the last type of disease, we will come to the last part of the bacterial disease, that is tetanus. So whenever you are being suppose just have a cut by any iron or any rusted iron or anything, then you have to take a tetanus injection. So what is the tetanus injection and why this is happening that you have to take it? Why? Because this type of bacteria, generally earlier it was found in the alimentary canal of the horse. Then after that it start to actually also been seen that from the rusted iron, if you have been cut by a rusted iron, then also you can have the disease. So normally that bacteria is Clostridium tetani. So this bacteria that generally affects the muscular junction. So in the neuromuscular junction, whenever it block actually, then what happen? Severe contraction occurs, rapid spasm occurs. That region, this region, mouth region, the lower jaw actually completely gets stiff. So whenever it gets stiff, what happen? He will not able to chew or swallow. So whenever he will not able to chew or swallow, he will have difficulty in swallowing. He will not able to even swallow also, it will be not possible for him. So another type of symptoms, like first of all he will have irritability, then restlessness, that type of thing will happen. Difficulty in chewing occur, swelling occur, and after that he will have severe contraction. And what happened? Due to severe contraction, the individual will constrict, actually the whole individual he will constrict. So that is what happened in tetanus. We have a treatment for the tetanus, that is ATS, anti-tetanus serum. So whenever you are cut by just a rusted iron, you have to take that injection, you will not have the chance of tetanus. So what happened? Just by this anti-tetanus serum you can be treated. So we have discussed this type of diseases. How many diseases we have discussed in the bacterial part? First disease we have discussed, that is typhoid. Then after that we have discussed pneumonia. Then we have discussed the plague disease or bubonic plague. Next, fourth type of disease, tuberculosis, leprosy, cholera, diphtheria and tetanus. All the types of disease along with their causative organism are important. Remember, though it will be a little bit difficult whenever we will discuss the whole diseases, the causative organism to remember will be a little difficult job, but yes, once you try, practice it, it will be easy. So these are the different types of bacterial disease. We have completed the bacterial disease. In the next video, we will see the viral diseases. Till now, thank you.